There's a reason you've been waking up feeling exhausted, even after a full night's sleep. A reason why your bones feel heavy though you've done nothing strenuous. Why your mind feels clouded even in silence. Why your soul feels like it's carrying something that doesn't belong to it. And that reason is not rooted in the natural. It is spiritual, and it has been intensifying because heaven's favor on your life is increasing. Archangel Michael is sounding the alarm. For what you are battling now is not fatigue of the body, but resistance of the spirit, an invisible weight pressing down on you because of who you are becoming, because of the breakthrough that is building behind the veil, because your presence in this world disturbs what is hidden in darkness. This isn't just about stress, it's about sabotage. It's not just about being overworked. It's about being targeted because your light has reached a level that can no longer be ignored in the realm of shadows. There is warfare happening in the spirit, a battle for your focus, your energy, your endurance. This is why your motivation has been attacked, your clarity disrupted, your relationships strained with no explanation. This is why people you once trusted are acting strangely, why you feel drained around certain places or people, why even small tasks feel overwhelmingly difficult. It is not weakness, it is warfare, but you have not been abandoned in it. You're not defenseless. Archangel Michael stands beside you, sword drawn, flames of divine authority rising from every word heaven has spoken over your life. You may not see the full scope of the battle, but you feel it. You feel in your nerves, your breath, your inner world that keeps asking why peace feels so far. But here is the truth. The enemy fears what you are about to discover. He fears your voice awakening. He fears your purpose maturing. He fears you remembering who you are and what you carry. He's been trying to exhaust you because tired warriors are easier to distract, easier to deceive, easier to convince that quitting is a form of self-care. But you were not chosen for defeat. You were chosen to tear down strongholds with your prayers, to shake atmospheres with your very presence, to disarm principalities not with your own strength, but with the authority given to you from heaven. The tiredness is real, yes, but it is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that something is right. It means you're shifting realms. It means your name is being mentioned in spiritual places. It means your alignment with heaven is provoking the response of hell. And that means you're closer to breakthrough than you realize. The enemy doesn't waste time on those who are stagnant. He targets the rising ones, the ones with callings that ripple through generations, the ones with prayers that rearrange bloodlines. The ones who have been quiet long enough and are now beginning to roar. And yes, the warfare has intensified, but so has your anointing. You think you're tired because you're doing too much, but you're tired because you're carrying something holy, something eternal, something that threatens everything unclean that tried to attach itself to you. Your dreams have been under attack. Your confidence has been chipped away. Your strength has felt like it's leaking through the cracks of your soul. But what you haven't lost is your authority. You still have access to divine armor, to heavenly reinforcements. Archangel Michael is not just sending a message. He is releasing a covering over you, a heavenly shield to restore what's been depleted, to silence the lies that have whispered, "You're not strong enough. You're not worthy. You're not making progress." Those voices are not yours. They are not heaven's. They are echoes of fear from realms that know what will happen the moment you rise. And you will rise. but not through striving, through surrender. Not through fear, but through faith. The battle is not just around you. It is for you, for your mind, your heart, your peace. That's why the enemy has been trying to wear you out through endless noise, unnecessary conflict, unexpected loss, and invisible burdens. But God has placed a command in the atmosphere. Restore the weary, fortify the chosen, ignite the tired warrior. You're not alone in this. Angels have been assigned to your restoration. You are not behind. You are in the midst of refinement. Do not misinterpret the fatigue as failure. It's preparation. It's the stretching of your capacity. It's heaven expanding your spiritual lungs so you can breathe in higher altitudes. You've been climbing silently, wounded but determined, discouraged but obedient. And that has not gone unnoticed. There are scrolls in heaven with your name on them, assignments, blueprints, gifts, mantles. And the moment you step into alignment, when you stop entertaining what weakens your spirit and begin speaking with the boldness of your calling, the entire spiritual atmosphere around you will begin to shift. That's why you've been feeling the pressure. It's the last resistance before divine release. So hear this and remember, you are not lazy. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are becoming. This tiredness will pass, but the power it births in you will last forever. Stay the course. Archangel Michael is with you, and your second wind is coming. You've been asking questions in the quiet of your heart that even your lips haven't dared to speak aloud. Questions like, why does everything feel heavier lately? And why does peace seem harder to reach, even when I'm doing everything right? And heaven has heard those questions, not with judgment, but with compassion, and Archangel Michael comes bearing truth that will pierce through the fog you've been trapped in. You are not weak. You are in warfare, and the weariness that has tried to define you is not the result of failure, but the residue of a battlefield you haven't even realized you've been walking through. You are tired because your spirit is fighting for you behind the scenes, casting down spiritual interference, blocking unseen darts of envy, betrayal, and fear, absorbing the tension of generational warfare, being broken through your obedience, through your simple choice to keep walking when it would have been easier to sit down and give up. Your soul has been in constant intercession, even when you didn't know what to pray. Do you understand the gravity of that? Your spirit has been standing in rooms your body has never seen, negotiating peace over chaos, commanding angels around your home, rejecting curses spoken over your life, turning back storms that were scheduled to destroy you. That kind of warfare doesn't show up as obvious fire. It shows up as sleepless nights, distracted thoughts, emotional exhaustion, mysterious heaviness, sudden sadness, a deep sense of being overwhelmed for no visible reason. But heaven does not leave warriors on empty. Archangel Michael says your oil is being replenished now, drop by drop, truth by truth, and this message is part of your spiritual restoration. You were never meant to fight alone, but somewhere in your strength, you forgot to rest. Somewhere in your discernment, you forgot to protect your energy from environments that secretly drained you. Somewhere in your kindness, you allowed people to speak into your life who had no spiritual authority to do so, and their words left residue on your soul. Doubt, fear, insecurity, confusion. But God is cleansing that now. The fatigue that has settled in your chest like cement is being cracked apart by divine fire. Every lie that said, you're just being lazy or you're falling behind is being silenced by truth that roars. You are still chosen. You are still covered. You are still powerful. This season of exhaustion wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to teach you boundaries, to teach you how to guard your spirit the way heaven guards your destiny. You're being called into a season where rest is no longer optional. It is holy. Where stillness isn't weakness, it is strategy. The spiritual fatigue you felt is not your enemy. It is your warning sign, a sacred invitation to reevaluate who and what has access to your time, your emotions, your inner sanctuary. You can no longer afford to keep pouring into places that leave you thirsty. You can no longer carry burdens that were never assigned to you. Some people have mistaken your tiredness for disinterest, but they don't understand that the battles you're fighting are invisible, sacred, and generational. You are wrestling demons that kept your ancestors in chains. You are cutting cords that bound your bloodline to cycles of loss, addiction, rejection, and sorrow. You are breaking spells that were cast in secret, praying prayers that reroute your entire lineage. That's why your body feels worn, because your spirit is winning wars. But the Lord says now is the time to enter into recovery. This doesn't mean the battle is over. It means reinforcements have arrived. Archangel Michael is sending warriors on your behalf. Angels who know your assignment. Angels who carry strength in their wings and healing in their touch. Angels who will guard your rest, cover your dreams, shield your spirit as it recovers from what it just survived. You will feel energy return that you thought was lost. You will feel clarity where there was fog. You will feel peace that doesn't need permission. This is your healing hour. The divine is placing an oil lamp in the dark cave you've been walking through, illuminating the way forward, and with every step, your strength will return, not all at once, but steadily. And with that strength will come vision, and with that vision will come discernment. And with that discernment will come strategy. And with that strategy will come victory, not just for you, but for every soul tied to your obedience. You see, this exhaustion you feel has never just been about you. It's about what you're carrying. You are the breaker, the intercessor, the prophetic voice your bloodline has been waiting for. And that calling carries weight, but it also carries reward. Soon, you will not only feel rested, you will feel radiant. People will look at you and wonder how you're glowing again, how you're standing again, how you're smiling again. And you will know it was not just sleep that restored you. It was grace. It was presence. It was God Himself stepping into your exhaustion and reminding your soul, you were never meant to carry this alone. You're still His, still protected, still chosen, and you're only just beginning. And now, as the spiritual veil begins to lift and you start to see the reason behind the weariness that has followed you like a shadow, Archangel Michael urges you to look deeper, not with the eyes of flesh, but with the sight of your spirit, because the weight pressing on your shoulders isn't just circumstantial. It is spiritual resistance that has increased because your calling is nearing its manifestation. You haven't been exhausted because you're doing something wrong. You're exhausted because you're getting closer to doing something right. The enemy always attacks hardest before the breakthrough, and your tiredness is the evidence of your transition, not your defeat. There have been invisible confrontations occurring in realms beyond your comprehension, where angels warred on your behalf in silence, while you went about your day with a heaviness you couldn't explain. Some of that heaviness is inherited, carried from generational wounds passed down through bloodlines never healed, burdens never processed, secrets never confessed. But you were born to be the interruption to that flow, the one to rise up and say, "It stops with me." That's why you felt the spiritual pressure increase. Because the moment you said yes to your healing, you declared war on patterns that have thrived in your family for generations. This is not ordinary fatigue. This is legacy level warfare. You've been breaking soul ties without knowing it. You've been dismantling curses just by choosing forgiveness instead of revenge. You've been loosening the grip of darkness every time you cried out to God in a moment of quiet desperation. And now, Archangel Michael stands before you, not with condemnation, but with a divine strategy. You must no longer treat spiritual warfare like mere tiredness. Because if you only rest physically but leave your spirit open to attack, the cycle will repeat. You need spiritual armor, and it starts with your awareness. Rebuild your prayer life, not out of guilt, but out of necessity. Take inventory of the voices speaking into your life. Are they draining you or pouring into you? Do they point you toward peace or confusion? The Holy Spirit is trying to teach you to discern not just who is around you, but what is operating through them. Some relationships are spiritually expensive. Some environments carry weight your soul cannot afford. You must learn to recognize when your spirit starts resisting something your mind has normalized. That uneasy feeling, that sudden irritation, that heaviness you feel after certain conversations, those are clues. Heaven is speaking through your fatigue. And if you lean in, you'll realize that your exhaustion isn't just begging you to sleep. It's begging you to disconnect from what's spiritually starving you. It's time to stop calling every type of tiredness normal when it's actually warfare. The anxiety, the distractions, the sudden fear of future, all these are not random. The enemy has studied your patterns. He knows how to wear you down without using direct confrontation. That's why he attacks your sleep, your emotions, your time, your peace. But Archangel Michael declares this over you now. The weapons formed against you have failed. You may feel bruised, but you're still standing. You may feel weary, but you are not defeated. And now comes your turning point. God is sending restoration through unexpected ways, through music that calms your soul, through sudden moments of silence that refresh your mind, through divine encounters with people who speak life into you instead of extracting from you. You'll start to notice that the tiredness begins to lift as your alignment shifts. The more you align with heaven's instructions, the more energy you regain. And in that energy, you'll find boldness again. You'll wake up one morning and feel different. Not because your situation changed overnight, but because your spirit got strong enough to rise above it. You are not just going to survive this war. You're going to testify from the other side of it. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of this fatigue that is radiant, peaceful, and untouchable by the very demons that try to drain you. That version of you is already forming. Every act of rest, every moment of prayer, every time you say no to what no longer serves you, that version of you becomes stronger. You are learning the art of spiritual preservation, the discipline of protecting your energy, not because you are selfish, but because your assignment is sacred. Archangel Michael says, "Do not apologize for guarding your peace. Do not feel guilty for needing solitude. You are not withdrawing, you are being prepared. Every great warrior requires moments away from the battlefield to sharpen the sword, tend to the wounds, realign with purpose. This is your sacred pause before the next chapter of glory. Let your soul recover. Let heaven minister to your spirit. And let the tiredness no longer be a prison, but a prophecy. Because the fact that you've been this tired and still kept going is proof that you were born with divine endurance. And God never gives that level of strength to someone with a small destiny. You are on the brink of a spiritual awakening that will refresh your purpose, restore your fire, and remind every demon who underestimated you that you are never alone in this war. Archangel Michael walks with you. Heaven covers you. And even your weakness is becoming your greatest weapon. The tiredness ends here, and the transformation begins. And now, beloved soul, Archangel Michael leans in for one final truth that will shift your perspective entirely. Because the weariness you've been carrying isn't a sign of weakness, but a sign of how deeply heaven trusts you. You've been allowed to feel the spiritual tension, not to crush you, but to awaken you, to alert you to the divine weight of your calling and the magnitude of your purpose. The enemy doesn't waste energy on what doesn't threaten him. So if you felt relentlessly attacked, it's because your existence is a threat to darkness. You weren't just chosen for breakthrough. You were chosen to be the breaker of chains for others. That's why it's been harder for you. That's why your storms have felt longer, your valleys deeper, and your nights quieter. But Archangel Michael says, God has not only been watching, He's been recording, rewarding, and rebuilding you in ways your eyes cannot yet see. Every tear you cried in private has been counted, and each one has been turned into divine fuel for the next level of your destiny. You see, the reason some people couldn't go with you, the reason some doors closed, the reason you were isolated for a time, it was all divine preparation. God allowed your strength to be tested in solitude because the next season will require confidence that doesn't depend on applause. You're being trained to stand even when no one claps, to believe even when no one understands, to carry light even when surrounded by those who prefer the dark. You are tired because you are transforming. Just like the caterpillar inside, the cocoon struggles and strains, losing its old shape in silence. You too have been shedding your former self in a holy confinement. But hear this, what felt like a cage was really a chamber, a sacred, hidden space where God was reshaping your identity, rewiring your spirit, and restoring your authority. And now, as this part of the journey closes, the heaviness you felt is going to lift like mist at sunrise. Where there was confusion, there will be clarity. Where there was despair, there will be joy. And where there was fatigue, there will be strength like you've never known before. Archangel Michael says, your wings are ready. You may not feel it yet, but your spirit has grown beyond the boundaries of this battle. What used to drain you will now repel off of you. What once intimidated you will now flee from your presence. You have survived spiritual warfare not by accident, but by divine protection and sacred resilience. And now, heaven is preparing to reward you, not just with rest, but with revelation. In the coming days, you will begin to receive answers to questions you forgot you even asked. Random conversations, dreams, numbers, songs, everything around you will start to echo with divine instruction. You will walk into places and feel the shift in your soul because your sensitivity is no longer a burden. It's your armor. You're spiritually calibrated now. You can detect hidden motives, sense atmospheres, hear God's whisper beneath the noise of life. And with this gift comes a responsibility to protect your peace at all costs. You're not being selfish by saying no. You're being strategic. You're not being rude by walking away. You're being preserved. The same God who let you walk through the furnace is now revealing that you were never alone inside it. There were angels stationed at every corner of your trial, intercepting attacks that never reached you. And now, the angels rejoice, for the battle has shifted. You've crossed into a season where your obedience will speak louder than your exhaustion ever did. Blessings are being released, but not the kind the world can steal. These blessings are spiritual inheritances, unshakable peace, discernment, healing, divine favor, and supernatural acceleration. You will move faster in this season, not because you're rushing, but because heaven has cleared the debris that used to slow you down. You passed the test. You've endured the fire. And now you are stepping into your assignment with fresh power. Archangel Michael wants you to know this. There is a table being prepared for you, not just in the presence of your enemies, but in the presence of your purpose. Your tiredness will be replaced by testimony. Your nights of unrest will be exchanged for mornings of revelation. And the world will look at you and wonder how you survived. And your only answer will be, God sustained me. That's why you couldn't quit, even when it hurt. That's why you still prayed, even when heaven was silent. Because something deep inside you knew that this weariness had an expiration date. And it is now. Let go of what no longer aligns with the strength you've found in secret. Speak to your soul and say, I'm not just recovering, I am rising. And as you do, you will begin to feel a shift even in your physical body. Health will return. Mental clarity will increase. Emotional heaviness will lift. And it won't be because of external changes. It will be because your spirit is fully aligned with the power of God flowing through you. Zustantal belovet varior. You did not survive all of this for nothing. You were trained, tested, and transformed because your life is not just your own. You are now the evidence that spiritual battles can be won, that divine fatigue can become divine fire, and that God's promises were never delayed. They were just waiting for you to become the version of yourself who could carry them. Heaven is cheering. The battle is over. The restoration begins now.